taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything.
What's up, wrestling card collectors? Welcome to another edition of WTC TV. I'm doing another great interview today. I hope it's another great interview. He looks like a nice interview kind of guy, I think. I got, is it Mike? Let's go and call you Mike. I'm learning your name for the first time right now, because every time we've had correspondence, it's always been through Twitter, and it's always been like, I guess the guy's his name is Seated, first name Seated, last name Senton. I guess that's a weird name, but who am I to judge?
Yeah, man, it's always like, hey, dude, how are you? What's going on?
I'm excited to have you on, because I'm always excited to have guys on that are putting out, let's be honest, their independent card sets. Just because I love to hear people's mindset on why they're doing what they're doing, why now and not, 5 years ago or a year ago. So I really want to break it down and kind of talk to you a bit about this cool looking cards that you have coming out. Got a couple of examples of, well, here we go. Behind me, I've never really done this before, where I actually have a graphic of the episode in the back, which is kind of cool. So I figured I'd jump on it ahead of the game here. And but let's talk about it. Let's talk about where this where it came from, what you got coming out, what can we expect. I'm gonna go right ahead and say Seated Senton. What's the name? What's the origins from that? Where's it from?
Oh man, I just thought it sounded cool, to be completely honest with you. There's nothing to it whatsoever besides I was like, man, I need something cool sounding. And that's well,
you nailed it.
The name. Yeah, right. So I actually started out, obviously I didn't start out doing the cards. I started out doing a fanzine. And this was
I see you started that out back in my research on it, like spring of last year, I think.
Yeah. So the idea came, oh gosh, late 2020. I was actually reading another fanzine. It was by a guy named Robert. And it's called The Atomic Elbow. And I was reading that, and I wasn't working, and I just needed to let out this creative energy. And I'm not a writer, so what's the next thing? I'm going to find all my friends to do the stuff for me for free. And but yeah, I got all my friends together. They wrote some stuff for me, and that's how that got started. And that went through all of last year.
What was the drive to even do that? Just because you didn't like the one you saw before, or you thought you could do it better, or
no, hey, I love the one that I was reading. Part of it was just to fill my time, because I can't sit around and watch TV all day. You know what I mean? Like
unless you're getting paid for it.
Yeah, I wish. Okay, I could watch TV all day long if I'm getting paid for it. But yeah, it just was one of those things. I just needed something, they say, quote, do with your hands, but like, I just needed something to do. And I'm like, I can do this. So that's when I decided to put that together.
And I see that it's really, fanzines to me, like, I'm old, so I'm
Sure.
50, I'm 53. And so to me, fanzines remind me back of the 80s, having lived through that. And the music side of things, that's how you found out about new bands, through these fanzines like that. And you would literally go and like, I'm a SoCal boy. So I would go like, OC Weekly or LA Weekly, and you go in the back and the advertisements like that. Sometimes you'd see like, looking for an aggressive guitar player kind of thing or whatever. Other times you'd see like, hey, love to do tape exchanges kind of things like that. And some guys like, would you do a tape exchange and send you their fanzine? And also like now you're like, you got these different fanzines. So it reminds me of something like that. Is that something that's still prevalent in the wrestling world with fanzines?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so at all. I know there's a handful of folks that do them, but it's pretty rare as far as I can tell.
I'd imagine with the invention of the internet and things like that, and how we get our information, it probably would be a killer.
It's man, it's kind of sad. Like I one of the reasons I stopped doing it is because it just didn't sell. I always say I'm not actually done with it, but I'm probably done with it. But it got to the end where I was selling like maybe a handful of copies, and it's like, it's just not worth it. Like it stinks, because in 2022, like, print media is all but dead.
Yeah.
you know, it's one of those things that
Is it something you maybe thought maybe going digital with it?
I did. And I still sold more paper copies than I
Okay.
did digital. So
I mean, maybe the idea there is to be digital still, not sell it, but maybe do advertisements,
maybe,
be placed on it.
maybe, you know, after the first 4 issues, I decided, because this is a whole other can of worms, but like I have some health issues, and I wound up switching everything over to Amazon. I don't know how indie you can be if you're on Amazon, but I switched everything over to Amazon because they do everything for you. Like I don't have to do anything but upload it. And I was still selling more than it being free on Kindle, which
Wow.
I don't understand, but I don't know.
Because I mean, it's like the trading cards, which we're going to segue into here, but
Yeah,
it's a fanzine of that nature becomes almost a collectible in itself. Really, it is a
right.
collectible in itself. I've got some magazines. I found a whole stack in my storage unit. Yes, the
Yeah,
world famous storage everybody talks about. Where I found it's called Scrap, which is a
yeah.
Southern California. You know, it's a wrestling like a fanzine for SoCal, and
Sure.
on the cover it's got American Dragon,
Oh
you
wow.
know, back
Okay.
from, you know, in 2002 or 4 or something like that, whatever it was. So and that has value now. And so I thought that
Yeah.
if, you know, maybe that the fanzine would probably still be a collectible thing. No?
I don't. No, I don't think so. Um, there was. I only limited it to. There were only 50 of all of them made, and the only one I ever sold out of was the first one. So maybe that one. I don't know.
So maybe so then the trading card aspect, where the trading
Yeah.
card aspect did it come from the fanzine? Because I remember I think you put out a promo card, right, or not, for the first one, right?
Right. Right. So how it actually started, and this is a really cool story, at least for me. I did a custom card for Hollywood Haley J, because she's awesome, and my niece loves her. So I made a couple of custom cards to have her sign at one of my local shows here, and basically I was just like, if I can do this for myself, I can do this for other people. And I released the Avista Varlo card in May, and that was just kind of a companion to issue number 5, because that was the original plan, was to, when I released, because the zine got released every 3 months,
Mm-hmm.
and I would release a single card every 3 months, to go along, just again with the zine. And then I just kind of lost that interest in doing the zine, and it just kind of morphed into what it is now. And
No way to kind of merge those two together, that you get a trading card to go with.
I mean, I could, but again, I don't see the point if they're not selling.
True.
Plus,
Well,
I'm doing it. Plus, I'm doing it on Amazon anyway, so I don't know how that would work,
gotcha.
because it's all done through Amazon printing.
Makes sense. Those first 2 cards you put out, I remember we had the checklist put up for you on WTC, and
Yeah,
thank you so much for working so closely with me to get it all
absolutely.
corrected. But we kind of like, I think we came to the realization that those first 2 really became like promo cards.
Yeah. The funny story about all of that is the Avista Varlo card was, when I decided to kind of veer away from doing the zine, was never meant to be that. It was actually always meant to be card number 1. But it just looked so different from the design that I did. And I don't have a copy of the back of it, but it was so cluttered. There was so much information on the back of that card. I didn't like it, the back of it at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I'm just not going to include it in series 1.
So we
So
have those as
yeah,
promos, and I mean, there's only 20 according to the checklist. There's only 20 of the original promo,
yeah,
and then,
and that was just a giveaway. That was literally something, because when the first 4 issues I did myself, I put everything together myself, and it was just a freebie I gave away to the first 19 people, because I kept the last one. But yeah, it was just a freebie I gave away.
So what does this process take you? I mean, are you enjoying the process of making a trading card? Like, from
I love it.
as a creator, you know, what's it
Yeah.
like for you from start to actual finish?
It's fun. I use to be honest, I use a few free programs, because I haven't evolved enough to learn how to do paid stuff at this point.
Hey, I'm
But
with you there, man. Hell, I do all the editing for my video stuff
Well,
I hear all on a free
right.
software.
Right, man. Like if I can get away by doing it for free, it's more money on the back end
Yeah.
when I sell a card. So, but it's fun. It's for me to do the cards. It's honestly more fulfilling that I can help out some of the boys. As someone that's promoted shows and worked on shows, that's a whole other story too. But but as someone that's been involved in and out of the business or in and around the business since 1998, I want to say, it's nice to be able to do something for the boys because I don't charge the boys anything to do the cards.
Gotcha.
So so anyone that does it, it's literally free advertising for them.
So what is the process for you from start to finish? And like I was saying, how do you decide who's getting a card? What does that entail? Like, approaching that talent, and then from a design aspects like that, what inspires you to make it the way you make them?
Series 1 was basically my friends. Well, series 2 as well. A lot of them are my friends. But the thing from start to finish, series 1 was just it was more of a basic card for me, I think. And then series 1 didn't even end up to being uniform because I changed every single card, I think. Yeah, I found a design that I liked. I just knew that I wanted to look as professional as possible. That's really my biggest thing is I didn't want it to look like I did it from home. You know what I mean?
So you're designing them at home. You're using some sort of editing process to do that, like that. Once you come up with, do you run the specifics or the drafts by the talent, or use like this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So typically what happens, I'll either reach out on Facebook or through email and just give them a spiel. At this point now I have some artwork that I can include along with it. And just tell them that this is an opportunity, free advertisement for you. I take care of all the costs. They get half, I get half to sell in my store. I give them the option of I can pick pictures if there's something good available online. Typically there's not. So they'll email me a few pictures that they feel comfortable with using. And then I run the final design by them.
What's the general reaction that the talent seems about when you approach them? Like, are they excited about having cards made for themselves?
It's free, buddy. Not a single person has said no.
Well, I'm not saying that they say no. I'm just saying, are they excited? This is so cool. I'm going to be on a trading card.
Kind of. It's weird. It's weird. I think for some of the younger folks, because I have a card. Actually, you'll see them a little bit. That's a scoop for you. But
I like scoops.
Yeah, right. I have one guy that was super pumped about it, like he'd never been on a card, and he was just ecstatic. Most of them have just been like, "Oh, that's cool."
That's surprising.
But it's hard to gauge reaction when you're talking to somebody through the DMs.
Sure. I mean, there's no feeling of emotion through DMs or emails or text. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I haven't talked to anyone that's not been excited. But as far as a genuine reaction, I don't really get like, "Oh, this is super cool," But one gentleman was like, "Really? This is you're gonna do?" Like, "Yes, this is all legit, bud."
So these are people, you say that these are friends or people so like that. So I was wondering, do you randomly reach out to people or?
Yeah. Like I said, series 1 or all of my friends. Series 2 came from people that I knew that I had done some work with. But yeah, I'll just cold DM somebody or cold email someone.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Then so now we agree upon a design. Everything's looking good front and back. Then we do what with it?
I send it to the printer. I don't do the actual printing myself.
Okay.
Yeah, it goes there's a company online that I use to do the printing.
Gotcha. And those comes back pretty quickly, I would think, from that point. So then we take the stuff out. We send them out to the talent for autographs because all your cards are all autographed.
Correct. Yeah,
they're
on
all
card.
yeah, they're all on card autograph slab. So that's where the process takes a little time.
Yeah, that's the longest part of the whole thing. Typically, the cards will take about 2 to 3 weeks because they have an option. The company that I use, to be honest, is pretty cheap. But the option to rush, and that's not on them, that's on UPS. It's just expensive.
Yeah.
So it goes from like $6 to have it shipped in the mail to like $20 via UPS. So, I mean, and at this point, it doesn't even matter because I'm so far ahead on cards that it doesn't matter if it takes a little extra time.
Yeah, because right now, I mean, the website we have, I'm assuming that we have the checklist is as up to date as possible right now.
Yeah, but I haven't announced any of series 3 through 5, which I have all set.
Because we don't even have to be announced for series 2 yet. Is series 2 only going to be a 2-card set? We have listed as a 4-card set.
No, I announced it on. I sent a DM. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I have to get that updated then. We're behind the times here, sir.
It's all good.
I'll make sure that when we get done here tonight, I'll make sure we get that updated for you.
Yeah. So card three is Megan Myers.
Gotcha.
That'll be signed at a local show next month, so it'll be available first week of October or beginning of the second week. Card number 4 is former WWF Women's Champion Princess Victoria. And I was told this is her first autographed card since like 2007. So it's been a while.
Princess Victoria. You talking about Victoria?
No, Princess Victoria.
Gotcha.
So she was early 80s.
Oh, gotcha. I'm sorry. I'm thinking Victoria. I do remember seeing that text. I do remember seeing that post like that. And that is, it's so hard for me to keep up on everything like that.
I can imagine.
I do, but then I've got Chuckster and Paul and guys like, and Armand, these guys, are pretty up. So, I mean, there's just such a swarm of so many cards that have been coming out for 2022 between, mainstream stuff to independent stuff. It's just, we do drop the ball once in a while. Apologize.
That's all right. It's all good, my friend.
We'll get it updated. Promise right away.
Fine.
So I saw the tagline you used for your fanzine is, by wrestling fans for wrestling fans. And it took me back to the early days of when before WTC, it was called Com Collect. And it was for collectors by collectors.
Fantastic. Awesome.
So it made me think about that. Like, oh, I kind of like this tagline. My old collect slogan, almost like that.
Right.
Assuming again, you're talking about being involved in wrestling at some point since like 98 times like that, but I'm assuming you're a lifelong wrestling fan.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. My first wrestling show I went to in the summer of '86. The main event was Hulk Hogan versus the Iron Sheik. That was at Freedom Hall in Louisville, Kentucky.
Wow, that's going back. That's kind of going back.
Yeah, man.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say I don't remember anything else on that show whatsoever, except that the Junkyard Dog, who was my absolute favorite behind Hogan, was on the show, but I don't remember who he wrestled.
So your love of wrestling, even at a young age and all that time back, did it make you a card collector? Were you a card collector, or did you collect other stuff? So
funny story. When I was 8 years old, my brother who's since passed away, but he was 10 years older than I am. And he had a girlfriend when he was, 17, 18. And she tried to win me over by giving me a whole bunch of those old school, the WWF cards, like the late 80s cards. Mm-hmm. I wish I still had all of those, man. But yeah, those were my very first cards because she wanted to win over my love to her, I guess. Which wasn't hard as an 8-year-old when you're giving me wrestling stuff. Let's just be honest.
So at that time, you're probably collecting all kinds of stuff, wrestling, getting like dolls and whatever, and all that stuff.
Oh man, are you kidding, man? I had like, obviously I had the ring, but like all my Ninja Turtles were wrestlers. Like they were all wrestlers at some point.
So did you, from getting that initial card, did you become a card collector from that point forward?
No. I collected as a kid more baseball cards than anything else.
A lot of us.
And then I was a huge baseball fan growing up. And then I kind of grew out of cards for a long time. I just one of those things when I grew up and I was like, nah, this isn't important to me anymore. Probably up until about 4 years ago. Like I'm 45 now. And up until about 4 years ago, I started collecting autograph cards because I got on this whole autograph kick. So like I would go to shows, like I was never big on autographs. And then I would go to a show and like, I need a picture. I need something autographed. And I had no clue where that came from. But yeah, that kind of just transitioned into the autograph cards.
So you were getting actual cards signed in person and like, yeah. So you were collecting cards then, right?
No, most of them were 8x10s.
Oh, 8x10. Okay.
8x10s and stuff. But yeah, so that just kind of morphed into when the pandemic hit, I was looking for signed stuff like cards on eBay.
Okay. So we're talking like what, pack pulled autograph kind of stuff and things like that. Okay, mate.
Yeah, well, hand signed stuff too.
Sure. Okay. So you actively collect now as well.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. That's probably another reason I was doing them as autograph cards. Number one, because I don't think they would sell as well, but that's just me. I don't know. I think the cards would sell well if they actually were autographed, but I'm a huge fan of autograph cards. So yeah, I just started getting my card slabbed not too long ago.
Do you have a PC? Anybody?
Chris Hero. Chris Hero. Yeah. Yeah, he's my buddy. I've known that dude forever.
Nice. So you have a lot of his cards, I'm assuming, that he's ever been on?
7 or 8. 7 or 8. Not a lot, but we're getting there.
I think his first card I remember him being on might be 2004 Pacific.
Yeah, that TNA card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think people forget about that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people had their first cards on that set.
Yeah, they do.
Punk had his first card out of that set.
Yep, that's right.
And then Punk was on another card. He was on well, I guess it's Slash, but Wolfie D's card. He was on that card too.
From card collecting, so like for you card collecting now, is that solely what you collect now as a card collecting, or do you still kind of collect other things in the wrestling realm, or are you just really laser focused on your autograph cards?
If I see something I like, I just sorry. I got my words tongue tied there for a second, but no, I just collect who I like, to be honest. It's
as long
just
as you're
my
having
favorite.
fun though, right? As long as you're having fun.
Yeah, well, that's what it's about. Because if you're not having fun, then why are you doing it?
Exactly.
You know, so I grew up. I mean, I grew up in Louisville, so like Jerry Lawler was always a favorite. So I've got a lot of like Memphis era stuff, like Lawler and Jarrett. Jeff Jarrett was actually my very first signed card I ever got, and I pulled him out of the pack, out of that 2004 set actually.
Yep.
Yeah, so Lawler, Jarrett, Brian Christopher, and then just a lot of indie guys now. I do a lot of indie cards. But
how long do you think this series is going to go on for you?
I don't know.
You don't know?
As long as they sell.
I mean, sales have been pretty good, I would assume then, right?
Yeah, and you know, the thing is, like, from where I have my stuff printed, I don't have to sell a lot to make a profit. I think it's like 6 cards. 5 or 6 cards. So as long as I'm selling 6 cards for each one I release, I could probably do it forever.
I could probably think of 6 people that I know of, probably who are ordering every single one of those things from you.
Right. Right. Thank you, Chuckster. He's keeping me going.
Yeah. I was going to mention Chuckster. I'm sure he does.
For sure, keeping me going because he. Well, I guess he buys too, so he buys for a friend in Canada.
Yep. Good old Paul from the Price Guide.
Yep. So every card I release, he's good for 2 of them for sure.
There you go. And you're probably that's almost halfway with your goal right there. Almost
at least the third, right?
Yep. So it's interesting. I'm always interested to hear people's journeys into when they want to get in the card making business. Sure. It seems like the pandemic brought a lot of that out for people, I think, too. A lot of us had nothing. Hell, that's where this podcast came from, out of the pandemic, because I mean, I had nothing else to do. And who knew that this was going to be something that people were interested in listening to or watching, I hope. And people are, gravitating towards a lot of indie stuff. Like we started having independent cards becoming more of a thing around the 2016, 17 era right there. I always kind of go back to the PWG release type stuff.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
but then really over the last couple of years, we've seen a lot more independent stuff. You can go on to WTC or the Wrestling Card Price Guide websites, and you see just a laundry list of all these new sets have come out in just the last 2 years alone. It seems to be a thing that a lot of collectors like to go after. Why do you think that is?
There's been a big resurgence in cards within the last couple of years. I think it's just you know, I don't know.
But specifically independent cards, because yeah, we get the WWE was Tops, now Panini release stuff. We get the AEW stuff, which is coming out from Upper Deck. So we have our mainstream stuff, but independent cards specifically over the last couple of years have really become like a big thing.
Yeah, I think it's just a sign of the times. I mean, look at how popular independent wrestling is in general these days. You know, for all of the bad things that the internet has done for professional wrestling, look at all the good it's done. I could watch a pro wrestling show on YouTube pretty much anytime from anywhere in the world at this point. And I think the awareness of folks that people may not know as well is a big thing.
I tend to believe that independent cards are a great way for people who, whether you're a collector because it's something that you want to do to fill that itch, you got to buy something, for collecting, because mainstream product becomes very expensive. So a lot of people maybe say, you know what, I really, it's not my budget to kind of buy a $200 box, but I can buy a $30 complete set, from such.
Sure too.
But I think a lot of it is also prospecting. People are like, where's the next MJF card coming from? Where's character coming from? Where's the next Punk card coming from? Where's the next Seth Rollins coming from? That kind of thing. So people may be prospecting.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point too.
Maybe the Seated Senton's putting out some cards that maybe could be these big stars someday.
That's very true. Let's hope. Let's hope, right?
Yeah.
That's a big thing too. I didn't even think about that until you said that, but you're getting cards of folks who might just blow up one day. You never know.
Very true. And and they're just fun to collect. I mean, you come up with some great designs. I mean, I think your earlier ones were earlier one was like a border design. And then you also have some full bleed ones as well. So like that, what kind of inspires you to make a certain particular type of cards, like a card design? I mean, because you're across the board on all kinds of things. I mean, you're all over the place.
That's how my brain works, to be honest.
Like, I don't know, like there's older card sets that you look at and go, I like that. I want to do something different like that.
I'm going to be completely honest with you, and I probably should not admit this, but I feel like some of those are just kind of mistakes. Like, just in the way that I had the website that I use to actually have the cards printed, that's just how they came out. I think I finally got it down perfect with the second half of the series 2. So you're going to see there'll be a lot more uniform with the borders and stuff going forward.
Gotcha. Yeah. I mean, it's just, I see some guys that are, inspired by whether it be the 91 Impel or championship markings from that year, or the 87 Tops or 85 Tops or.
Series 1. Yeah. Series 1 kind of was inspired by another independent series of the NAWA set. Because if you look at the back of Series 1 cards, it looks very similar to the back of their cards. But I took a lot of inspiration from that for Series 1. And then Josh Crane's card, which is my favorite card of all of the ones that I've announced so far, that just came because he posted his card was going to be the same as all the others. And he retweeted some artwork that a fan had done. And I'm like, this would look amazing on a card. So that's why that one's different.
So you find inspiration from a lot of different places when it comes to making your stuff. So
Limitless was a big inspiration for series for the cards that I'm releasing now. But yeah, I like to take a little bit. It's just like wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Like wrestlers take a little bit out of their heroes, and I just take a little bit from some of the cards that I've seen and try to make it my own.
Excellent, man. Well, I'm really looking forward to the rest of the cards as they come out.
Yeah,
You
awesome.
you did mention something earlier in our conversation.
Yeah,
You have a surprise for us.
I do. So I had previously mentioned on Twitter that I was going to announce Series 3 once Series 2 had been completely released. But I think I'm going to go ahead and do that now.
Awesome.
So
Breaking
news. Dun, dun, dun. Do we get a drum roll for this or no?
I don't play any instruments. Go ahead.
Oh man. All right. Interview's over. You don't get it now. All right. So this I'm sorry. All right. So this is Series 3 card number 1. This is Franco Varga.
Nice.
He is world traveled, super good dude, and I can't wait. I can't wait till this one's released. Card number 2, probably one of my favorite wrestlers in the whole world, so I'm super glad we got him. The fire starter, Jake Christ.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, man, I really like this one a lot.
Yeah, you're stepping up your game there, buddy.
We're getting there, right? I told you, like it's sooner or later the cards will look all uniform, like they'll look really good. But I'm my harshest critic, so like I'll look at a card and be, man, well, that looks like crap. And then somebody be like, this is a cool looking card. And I'm like, oh, quit playing.
And I have a question
Yeah.
about this in it. So what makes you decide that you want to make a series 1 versus a series 2 versus series 3? Why are different series, and why is it not an ongoing thing?
So I like to I think part of it's my OCD, to be honest with you. Because the original plan was to have 4 cards that all look the same, and that just didn't happen. And then because of the Josh Crane card, and then Series 3 was supposed to be this limitless style, but I got super excited and I really liked the design and I released them early, so I started doing them on 2.
Yeah.
So that's why they're kind of split. So like you got Series 1 and then half of Series 2 going into Series 3.
Are there each series going to be a 4-card set then, basically?
Yes, there always will be 4 cards.
Okay. Gotcha.
Because the plan this was the original plan to do, and I jumped the gun and released a whole bunch early. But it's to release 4 cards every 3 months. So
Okay.
what you're seeing tonight will actually be released sometime in January.
Okay. Those are the first 2 of series.
This is Series 3.
Series 3.
Yes, this is all going to be Series 3 in January.
So that'll be the first 2, and then we're going to have 2 more that you're working on.
Oh, I have one more to show.
Oh, look out.
This is card number 3.
Oh.
This name is Saren Rain. He's a local competitor here around the Buffalo area.
I like the rookie card thing on there. It's awesome.
Yeah. And I did this specifically for him, but I think I'm going to start using this going forward. He was the one I was telling you about earlier that was super excited about being on a card. And he's like, oh man, it's my first card ever. So like I had to stick that rookie card logo.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that.
Yeah. So he's a competitor here locally. But I think he's going to blow up, much like Daniel Garcia has around here. So I think he's probably going to be one of the bigger names that comes out of this area. Wilson.
That's awesome.
I don't have the artwork for this one yet, but I do have a picture for you. So this is kind of a super cool thing too. Series 3 will have for the first time ever, we'll have a tag team card. These are the Outrunners.
This is card number 4.
This is card number 4. You got it.
We got the whole series 3 coming out, guys.
So that's the Outrunners. They do a lot of work for Ohio Valley Wrestling. They're former OVW tag team champions. But I just inked the deal with them over the last couple of days.
That's
so
great.
the artwork will be done pretty soon.
Oh,
yeah, that's Series 3.
Awesome. We get breaking news here. It's awesome. I love that.
Yeah, so we're still going to do pre-orders probably in October once I get everything released for Series 2. And then they'll release in January, and we'll be on an every 3-month schedule after that. Like I said, I've got 2 more series after that completely ready to go too. Well, not the artwork, but just the folks. But yeah,
You've already got those, all the talent already kind of locked in for those ones already.
minus 1 for
Okay.
series 5.
Okay.
But yeah, it's basically we're done. We're good through July.
Well, you seem to be having a lot of fun doing this.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
It's obviously even from a financial standpoint, it's still profitable for you to keep the series going.
I've at least broken even,
Yeah.
which is okay. I always said when I did the zine, as long, and it's not about money, to be honest, but I'm still putting money into it. Sorry if you hear my dog in the background.
That's okay. We'll interview them too.
Yeah, right. You go.
Yeah, I mean, but you also, like you said at the beginning of this interview too, that you like to put cards in their hands so they can make money as well too, to help them out.
Yeah,
so.
for sure. It's not all about what I do. You know, I do like knowing that I'm able to help some of the boys make a little bit of extra money, and if I can make a couple of bucks in the process, that's great. I haven't made any extra money, to be completely honest with you. All of the money that I've made has went into producing more cards.
Goes right back into it, man. I know that process well.
But that's okay, because I'm not using personal money to do that.
Correct.
So as long as the money to do this is coming from the cards, that's cool.
Yeah,
I'll do this as long as I can, I guess. You know, like I said, it's not about the money. But when it got to the point where I wasn't making money on the zine, I was done. Well, I was already frustrated with it anyway, to be completely honest with you. Like my heart wasn't into it. But man, I love doing this. I can't see a day where I'll stop doing this.
I love your passion for it and your drive to keep it going.
Thank you.
And I really hope that it becomes a part where one day, even if it's just one card, one guy that you put a card out for that becomes like this big star,
Right.
that people are like, you guys remember that Seated Senton set that came out a while back ago? Now you gotta go back and find it. Contact that guy. See if he's got any more of those cards. We got to get these cards.
And can we make that happen? Because like, if I have a whole bunch of extras, like I could be loaded after that, right? I can make some money.
Yeah, well, hopefully down the road here too, as we keep this checklist going and we can, show that these are legit, real cards, we can get these slabbed by the grading companies like that will, go ahead and slab them, and then the value kind of goes up from there.
That was one of the things. I did reach out to CSG, and they won't grade the cards at this point.
Did they give you a reason?
Yeah, they said it was too new. There's not enough information.
Okay.
So
well, that's where we
it
come
is what
into play,
it is.
buddy.
That's okay.
That's
all
where we
right.
come in.
I mean, I can't fault.
That's where we come into play, folks, where we decide that we're going to go ahead and start getting this information for people.
Here's the
Cameo.
loudmouth.
There we go.
There's my loudmouth right here.
You collect cards?
Yeah. He likes to chew on cards.
I was going to say chew on them, sure. Well, that's where WTC comes into play, that we hope that we can provide that information for anybody, whether it be just collectors or graders out there, whoever companies, to look and say, hey, here's the information. The stuff is legit. It exists. That's all we can do is provide the information. The grading companies can then do what they want to do, how they want to do it. But
yeah, and I was going to say before I was rudely interrupted here that at the time I reached out, I only had the one card available anyway, so I can't fault them. So the other 2 cards have come in. I've got 3 more cards coming in within the next couple of weeks, so that's okay. It's okay. Like I said, I do this for fun. I do this to help some of the guys out. It's quite all right.
Well, I think by this time next year, I think these card companies will start taking recognition and start actually.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
So, be good. That's it, man. I have
cool, man.
I've got all my questions done. Can throw them out. Got anything else? Any more surprises? Any more cameos?
Oh man, no. No. I don't want to get too far ahead. But no, I just first of all, I just want to thank you for having me on, man. It's been a blast.
Oh, thank you, man.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Anytime. But yeah, I appreciate everyone that's ordered cards, that has shared posts, that's done all of this. Like,
Well, let people know, anybody who is watching this, who doesn't know about your handle and stuff like that, where can people go out and contact you or find or buy these wonderful cards?
So you can buy the cards at theseatedsenton.com. You can find me on Twitter at theseatedsenton.
We'll have those links in the show notes for you folks. Don't worry.
Perfect. But yeah, I should have some more cards coming out real soon.
All right. Well, and for us guys, for WrestlingTradingCards.com, it's right there, WrestlingTradingCards.com. All of our information is found at the bottom of every page, how to contact us, all our social media. And we just want to go ahead and spread the word all the time about educating people about wrestling cards, talk more about it. Hopefully someone gets something out of it. Someone gets a sale, someone learns something new, discovers cards they never knew existed. That would be great. Just kind of share this with everybody. Like, comment, subscribe. I love it very to subscribe. I don't do that enough. I don't ask people to subscribe enough, and my numbers probably show that. But I would really appreciate you guys would subscribe. It helps. I'm not making any money off this. Nowhere close to being able to monetize anything, which is not really my end result anyways. If that happens, it's great. It just ends up paying for like maybe a microphone or something like that down the road or something. But I just appreciate everybody's time. Share it with everybody else. Help with Seated Senton become like the next big thing in the indie cards. That'd be great. And that's it, man. I say that we're all done here, man.
Cool, man. Well, I just want to say one more thing. Just through all your spill, just make sure that you guys share this video, because people won't know it's here if you don't share it.
Exactly. Share the video and comment on this as well. It's like that. And everything always helps. Always share. It helps the community grow. It helps people understand. Cool. Because when I first started collecting and I found what I would call like oddball sets, because this back in the day would be considered an oddball set for me. A Seated Senton set would be like this oddball regional type thing that I didn't know about, because who knew? And I would archive that stuff like that. And then WTC became a place that we could share information. So share the video, help educate the people. Let's grow this hobby, man.
The biggest compliment that I can give you, to be completely honest with you, and this isn't like, butt kissing or anything, but for me, I liken what you do to what Pro Wrestling Illustrated did for wrestling magazines. Because what you said,
I'll take that.
What you said was completely true. Because back in the day, like, if I lived in New York, I didn't know about Memphis or what was going on in Texas or California unless you read those magazines. And you do such a wonderful job of letting folks know what's out there. Like, that's the biggest compliment.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome. Like, there are so many sets I found. Well, I found through, obviously you post on Twitter about it, but that Hall of Fame set for the Hall of Fame induction. Yeah. I had no clue that was a thing until.
Nor did I. Yep. Nor did I. And so,
so
which is funny, because as the time of this recording, I just got the phone this morning with the International Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame president talking about their card set and getting all the information about that. And I love building those relationships. I love building relationships with a guy like that, a guy like you, a guy like Pete with his cards that are coming out. Anybody that's willing to talk about their card sets and share their passion and their love for wrestling cards, and to educate and give other information to other people. It's fun for me. That's the joy and the fun I have like that. It's just I lost it for a while. I came back after starting doing these podcasts, and I'm love doing it still. I'm sure my wife would wish I wasn't doing it more, but I mean, I'm doing it.
Yeah, right. Well, I'll tell you what, man, it shows in the work that you do. So you're very welcome. I'll end on that. So all right.
Got nothing else, man. I appreciate some great words there to end on. I love it. Thank you so much.
You can pay me for that later, just so you know.
Check is in the mail.
All right, that works.
With that, man, we're out.